only in 2025, like 97 million jobs will be gone. BlackRock, which and they are operating in the US and the US market and have the product exposed on the Nasdaq exchange. There is absolutely no reason for ever selling your Bitcoin. We need more females in the crypto space. So.
Yeah, so and you was trying to attract girls. If you're living in Norway,
don't do this.
It's not the country where you need to mine crypto.
Hi Ken, it's nice to meet you here in your house. And today we're going to talk about different topics in Web3. So first, tell us about yourself. How did you begin your career and why you have decided to be in a Web3 and blockchain technologies?
Wow, that's a good question, and thank you for coming here with all this gear and to lovely Sandefjord. So my name is Ken-Erik Ølmheim. As I usually say, I'm like an old grandfather in the crypto space. I started up mining Bitcoin in 2010 and been riding the crypto wave, blockchain technology ever since. And on that journey, we got into a lot of exciting stuff that is going on in the crypto space today. So I'm so happy that you guys came and I can teach you guys about it. Yeah, co-host,
Milo,
isn't it?
Yeah, cool host. Yeah,
co-host, Milo. That's my dog.
I think he just want to say something, but Milo, yeah. And we know you are currently part of Geddit Coin. How would you describe Geddit Coin in 2 sentences for someone who has never heard of it?
Wow. So I am an employee at Geddit. It's a startup company here in Norway, and the idea of Geddit is to make a huge change for the marketing marketing area, and totally just turn it upside down. So Geddit Coin is just a utility token. It's like the financial main artery in the ecosystem that people can hold.
What are the biggest challenges and breakthroughs in blockchain that you see as the CTO of Geddit?
Oh, so everything, was quite different back in the days when I started up as an employee at Geddit. There were a lot of stuff that you can stumble upon. For example, Google Play, where you distribute your app, Apple Store, for example. If there was like a mention or anything like to crypto, it would not get approved and get on their platform. A lot of regulatory uncertainty, like what are the requirements? What legal stuff do you need to sort out to launch a crypto token here in Norway? So like, I think we spent like 6 months with lawyers, just discussing and clarifying what we can do, what we cannot do. And if you heard about the SAC in USA, they were like stabbing companies in their back, because they were calling basically anything that was on crypto, except from Bitcoin and Ethereum, that was basically a security and have to be regulated as a security according to the Huey tests. And and what else? Well, the wallet, let's say the crypto infrastructure, utilizing wallets, you have to have like a master's degree in IT almost, to figure out 12 seed phrases, how wallets are made, and how to do a transaction. What currency, cryptocurrency, do you need to make a transaction? Is it ETH? Is it a BNB? So all that sort of stuff had to be sorted out. And then back then there wasn't, let's say, they were kind of like Ethereum, EVM, really doing good. You had BNB chain doing really great, and you had Cardano, and all those blockchain have different properties, and not all of them are suitable for an app on a mobile phone. And the breakthroughs, the biggest one, I think, for the industry is actually Google and Apple figuring out their policy on how to implement blockchain in their apps. And they actually realized that they cannot take a 30% cut of the transaction fee from the blockchain because it's going to the miners and stake pool operators. They have been through a learning curve, and the whole industry is still it's so early yet, But I think that, like, for adoption, bringing crypto out to people, that is a huge distribution, because everybody are using their phone, People are not using their computers anymore, laptop. It's either iPad, mobile phone. So to be able to hit that market, that was a huge milestone. What else is a good thing? Well, we just entered 2025 now, and basically in the crypto space during 2024, all of a sudden buying Bitcoin is okay. Before that, in 2020, when we started up with Geddit, you were an absolute moron if you put money into the crypto space. It was just a lottery. According to the mainstream media, that sentiment has totally changed. And the institutional and the people that are decision making in, let's say, in the financial world, they just wake up and realize, oh my God, here is something going on. We have to adopt this. We have to regulate this. And I think Bitcoin ETF, that is from like a historical pace that we can, like, if you were gonna go 10 years ahead and look back, when did crypto start? I would definitely say that 10th of January 2024, that's where they started. That's just where they started.
And as well, when the Trump was accepted that crypto is gonna be official, we would say.
Yeah.
And probably they're gonna buy this for the states. So it gave another breath of new possibilities.
Yeah,
And,
when you just say it, I get like goosebumps down my spine, because if you wind back, to 2010 and 2011, there was pretty much quiet around Bitcoin, and then we have the Silk Road incident, and let's say the decisions makers in this world made for like 5-6 years a pretty huge effort to stop this crypto thing, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. And then, of course, we had the backed product in New York. It helped out a little bit, but a huge milestone was Trump. We flipped him around. Remember, he was like quite negative. He looked at Bitcoin as a national security concern during his last. But anyway, he as a part of my ethos in the crypto space, educate, and someone educated him on the topic.
Yeah, he was educated probably. That's why he made a decision that, like all entrepreneurs make. So he's about doing. He's a doer. So
yeah, he sees the money in it, and the value that a decentralized ledger with store of value that the Bitcoin is can actually provide to the world. And I was like, I still remember when he was like talking in the Bitcoin conference, and like, yes, we're gonna do Bitcoin strategic reserve, and my brain was like, holy shit, this is going to be mind-boggling. And you see the MicroStrategies and the ETF guys, they were like stacking, major stacking, because they were like, So yeah, I think that is for not only for Geddit, but for the industry. I think that is like a huge milestone. People don't even comprehend how huge this. And as you mentioned, like last time I checked, now is like it was, I think it's 39 states in the USA at the current moment now. They are either proposing, implementing, or already stacking Bitcoin as a financial reserve for their budget, putting Bitcoin on the balance. That's insane. Like, it's not just El Salvador.
Yeah, this is a new, as you told, is a new milestone. And in your opinion, where is blockchain making the biggest impact right now? Finance, gaming, DeFi, DAOs, or maybe something else?
Wow, very deep philosophical questions. But from my personal experience, those people who are asking, just right now in just the first quarter of 2021, people asking the most questions, that's TradFi, that's banks, financial institutions, those people who didn't get it yet. They are asking the most questions right now. Sector, so the ETF product as itself is kind of like, when you talk like measured in dollars, that is kind of totally mind-boggling number. The world they haven't seen any ETF perform like this. It's like 270 something trading days, and those guys stacked up like 146 or 150 $1 billion. People can't even imagine how much $150 billion is. Is a ridiculous amount of money, and basically outperform any ETF, even gold, anything. There's no assets on this planet that's been performing like this in 2024, except for a few meme coins, but the institutional are not in. When it comes to adoption, so ever since 2020, the gaming industry, this is where it's going to make the biggest adoption of crypto. People might not realize it, but so people like me and you, we are too darn old for this. We don't
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
we're too or let's say the normal no coiner, like I said, the no coiner out there, they don't have time, they don't have the effort, they don't understand even the value of money. But and when I look at my stats from the YouTube channel, my Twitter post, is the age 18 to 25, and what are those guys doing? They're playing games. That's basically what they're doing. And the gaming industry and everything that is just fun and playful, that is going to adopt the most. And perhaps a very good proof of that is also all the meme coins, because it's just shit and giggles. Yes, it's tremendous money. Trump, it's actually like so funny. Like in Davos, it's like the most deep, seriously financial the epicenter in the world. Davos. And all they were talking about was Trump's meme coin and the Melania token,
I think a lot of influencers need to think about it, and they make their own coin as well. For example, in Kygo here in Norway, if he will make own coin, I think it's gonna be also people gonna meme coin. The people gonna buy it as well.
Yeah.
So actually, it's a new generation of how to brand yourself.
Yeah, so Kyrre or Kygo, he has been into the crypto space. I've seen him around. He's been buying NFTs and ape and get rugged and enjoying the learning curve. So influencers. So if it has, let's say, if it has like an entertainment value, even just for fun and excitement, they can do it. But for Kygo, for example, he really needs to dig into NFTs and distributing music utilizing non-fundable tokens. That's going to be a huge industry. And for like an artist, bringing the cash flow peer to peer. So basically, you can do it with the music. So if you have the whole NFT, yeah, you can listen to it. You can provide the ownership of it. You can even, I've seen artists crowdfunding their music, because you buy the NFTs and you cut a share of the revenue of the track, royalty stuff. You have ticket industry for the artists. So artists are actually able to mint out a concert NFT. The revenue goes directly to the artist. If the ticket is traded on the black market or a second hand, every transaction he get a cut. He can decide his own royalty fee for all the trading of his concert tickets.
So everything goes to the labels most of the time, yeah? A half part of the income but then with the blockchain it can go directly to the artist.
Go directly to the artist, and he can share it with his fan base. That is and there's so much fun you can do with just the music industry. But I know, back to the point. Who are adopting a blockchain right now? That's 18 to 25 by my metrics. Most male. Females are like around 4%. I'm trying to work on that, trying to bring more girls into crypto. Yeah. And then you have like the second cohort, to put it like that. That's basically 25 to 35. They stop memeing so much, but occasionally they can't help themselves, so they have to buy anyway. And then the tiniest cohort basically is those from 35 to about 55. Those are like the serious investors. Those are the one I'm trying to create. Trying to teach the younger generation how to DCA, for example. It's very hard for when you are 18 years to plan 10 years ahead and make investments.
Exactly.
It's no fun in that, but I've been doing that for 4 years, and those guys who actually been stacking dollar cost averaging, diversifying their portfolio, in 2025, they've been doing quite great. We made like, 200 millionaires only here in Norway.
Oh.
I have, when you're into crypto, you have some precious items. So, for example, I got in Argentina this compass for taking part in the Cardano constitution making. Very nice one. We have from the workshop in Norway this card. A lot of different merch we have. And we got like this pin, governance guru, because like appreciation of that you are doing something right. But I think some of the most coolest and most, let's say, fundamental, as a Bitcoiner at root, it's actually this financial bull. It's made by a street artist, and when he started this, he just heard about Bitcoin and he didn't have any knowledge about it, but what he managed to do in a series of 5 pictures is basically creating a series of pictures of the evolution of Bitcoin and crypto. And the last one is like a golden bull, providing that we have the ETF and real adoption, and this is like the first picture, and you see like Bitcoin, there's a lot of red, we have volatility going up and down. It was really a painful thing to be in crypto. So that is one of my most precious things I think I have. Along with the merch, I love it when crypto exchanges, they appreciate my efforts. I get merch from Binance, Caps, So some items are actually more valuable for me than actually crypto, to put it like that, because that's just number. This actually makes emotional value, not only financial value.
So Geddit focuses on gamifying marketing.
Mm-hmm.
How is blockchain transforming the marketing industry?
Oh, so here's the thing. Why do we need to change it in the first place? But perhaps a good question to ask yourself. So, if you checked your mailbox lately, it's full of paper, DMs as they're called. It's not direct messaging like in Twitter, but
Spam, yeah.
spam. Do we like spam? No, we don't like it.
No, it's full. I'm more than 1,000. It's a full. It's all junk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 5 kilo of paper.
Still,
wasted wood.
I don't know how to solve it. Still.
Yeah. You could do all kind of. But anyway, so that is like the traditional way of marketing. And then we have those new kids on the block. They're on the internet. This thing, and you have advertisement in front of videos you want to see. If you are on Snapchat, when you want to see your friends' news experience or skiing or whatever they are doing, you get interrupted by advertisement. And yeah, just go to a normal news page. It's like 80% of the content of the page is just advertising. It is completely annoying to do that, and people. If you fact check this, and look at the research that we have done in Geddit, people are actually paying money to avoid getting spammed. They are actually doing huge effort to avoid the advertisement on the internet because it's so annoying. And so, what can we do about that? Well, we can make advertisement enjoyable. And that's what we are doing in Geddit. And we are on the mobile platform. So we are not like Facebook, Google Ads, They are on they can show you advertisement, but with Geddit, I can take you from here and to downtown Sandefjord. And let's imagine that we have a campaign going on with McDonald's. We can put out point of interest, which you can visit. You can see the point of interest and say, oh, here's the reward. So I get a free hamburger if I go in there and compete with another friend in this area. And you win this competition, you can go to McDonald's and claim your free hamburger.
So gamifying the marketing, yeah?
Yeah, so I can, first off, I give you a reward, something that you like. You can choose if you want this reward or not. And secondly, what is the best thing of it is like you can, okay, I got this hamburger. It's in my app. It's actually on the blockchain. And if you're not feeling hungry, you can sell it to your friend. You get Krypto for it. And it is not only available for sale here in Sandefjord. McDonald's is everywhere. So you can actually sell it on the open market to one dude in USA, that is like the intrinsic value for why you want to play and enjoy. And you take something that is completely annoying and personally, I understand why people are doing marketing campaigns because they want to sell product. But 2025 requires you to do that in a totally different way because those 18 years, 25 years that is coming on to this space, which are going to be the people buying stuff in the future, they are so totally annoyed about the advertisement. And if they can do it another way, they're going to migrate it like this in seconds. So you see the adoption. You have like ChatGPT, they get like, oh, here's something cool, and you have like onboarding millions of people. So yeah, that's how marketing should look like in the future. And blockchain technology is just like a transport vehicle, to transport assets from one person to another.
We can say this is some type of infrastructure that need to be done, and then when it is done, there's going to be a lot of things happening. And what do you think? Which country would you say the best for Web3 startups right now?
Oh, so that is a very, very difficult question to ask, because currently the, let's say, regulatory environment for crypto is very fragmented. just look at Norway. We haven't even got the Mika yet. Mika have been out there since summer in the rest of the EU, European Economic Zone.
In this January, actually, there was a meeting that in Davos. Yeah, they've been talking about this.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the process about that and why it is like that, but that's the state factum. So if I just go over to Sweden, I can basically start up a crypto there and have a Mika regulated token. There's some difference now in the different countries in EU. So I haven't tested out, but just talking with lawyers, they say it's much easier, for example, to get something Mika approved in Spain than it is we have in Latvia, which is very forward-leaned on the stuff. And then if you are going to like the really, 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 really big money in this industry, you have to go to Dubai. They basically, FDIC, they have basically made a sweet honeypot for all the industry.
This is another market that we USA, Europe, Dubai, China, and then goes I think India and Pakistan. I think this is all the different markets that are.
So my last experience from Pakistan, they're quite negative to blockchain. But if you look at the Asia market, you have Singapore, very bullish. Hong Kong recently now, they said China banned Bitcoin, but if you look at the money, you see they're buying ETFs in Hong Kong.
They're gonna see I think they're also looking at the big brother outside. They look at what's gonna do USA, and after the Trump, and I think they made the decision as well, and so it's difficult to answer, yeah. So Dubai maybe can be a way.
Yeah. So if you are like in
nice
TradFi, if you're making products and want to be competitive, you should at least have the seat in Dubai. Is very friendly in regards to taxes and stuff like that. I see Czechia now; they're coming on, attracting Bitcoiners. We have. Look at we have France, Spain, Portugal. They're also very let's say crypto friendly.
Yeah, there's a lot of communities with the IT communities that they go to Portugal. It's a very nice city in Europe to be.
Yeah, and it's basically different what kind of industry. So like if you are an exchange, Malta is a good one. You just see today OKX got Mika approved in 28 nations in the European Union. Oh yeah, Milo. Yeah, we got a co-host here.
Yeah, he's
when we don't give him too much attention, he gets annoying. Yeah.
He's very busy with us. So. Yeah. Which blockchain technology excites you the most
at the current moment?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm probably gonna speak about something that nobody heard about yet in the crypto space. When I talk with normal people about it, they look at me like a big question mark. So I just warn people that I'm very often I'm like 10 years ahead. But what really, really excites me in the industry right now, that is actually governance, voting, having people's voices heard. And so that's basically what really ticked my curiosity for the last 2 years, focusing on the Cardano blockchain. That is one very, very hot topic, of course. And then you have the ETFs. We're going to see a lot of different products coming up from the ETFs, Solana ETFs, XRP maybe, Cardano ETF. So exchange-traded products. So the deep pockets are finally going to get exposure for crypto, and we see it even here. Norway, we're usually a little bit behind than the rest of the world. But I see like a bank like DNB now launching EPT. It's not ETFs here in Norway, but the EPT exchange-traded product where you can buy staked crypto. That's amazing. You staked Solana, staked Cardano, basically making, let's say, from an investor point of view,
Possibilities to invest in crypto.
yeah, but like this new product, they are used to actually paying for having someone managing their investments, but because you have staking rewards there, that gives so it costs 1.79% to manage your portfolio, but you get 2% in staking rewards. So it's basically like free management of your crypto. That's probably gonna bend some hurt some brain cells out in the industry, especially in the TradFi. Yeah, definitely.
By the way, have you tested Grok 3? Because it was rolled out today.
Yeah, I did this morning. I haven't played really much around about it, but it really is something. It's a different beast, and I will compare it with DeepSeek. The AI that nuked the stock market and Nvidia price.
But as for the DeepSeek as well, you think that if comparing, but it's your own opinion, but in comparison to GPT-4, DeepSeek is much more stronger, yeah?
Yes. So
have you been talking with the complicating questions with DeepSeek as well?
So to understand this, ChatGPT, is trained with a bunch of data. Just imagine you put all the information that is out there on the internet, and you train it. And basically, the AI works like this: that it takes word that is recognized next to each other. That is basically, let's say, the correct answer. And when you ask, it just replicate the process. The simple analogy, But with DeepSeek and Grok 3, it uses a reward system. So it's fed the same information. And for example, with DeepSeek, it uses the training material that has been used, and additional, it take a peek on the internet. What's the latest? What's going on, and then it makes a rationale. It doesn't just take the words that is supposed to be in a proper alignment. It makes a rationale, and it has like a reward system. And when it
what do you mean by reward system?
So basically, it does, like, if you ask it about X, Y, Z, it digs up all the information. First, it confirms that, okay, this is a question. Yes, I understand. This is what I need to look up.
Okay.
And then it goes and fetch the information.
Okay.
And goes through like 40-50 pages, and I see this and this talking about that and that. I see that and that talking about this and this. The first person makes more sense than the second person, and it makes like a rationale on this. So okay, so that is something I should bring into this topic, and then basically this just like you and me, when we are problem solving something. Okay, this one actually makes more sense, and what makes sense, it keeps and learns. So it's called reinforced learning. So you start out with like very little, and the more questions you ask this AI, it reinforces itself based on and ChatGPT doesn't do that, because there you have like a snapshot of the history, like it maybe just been updated until Christmas, It doesn't have the events that happening now. But if you so there was an accident here in Norway now recently, and you can actually ask it, what's going on in...
or for example, earthquake, yeah?
Yeah, earthquake, yeah. It's like instant happening. And you can go straight in, ask the AI, and like, wow, yeah, I see, it's been reported an earthquake. We can see that on Twitter, there's some newspapers, and they also make reference to what sources they are using. So you as an AI user can check if this is just absolute nonsense or not, So then you can click and it will open the page that the AI have read through, and yeah, it's amazing.
Can we test it while we're talking right now, or it's,
yeah? So we did. I did some tests here, and what is I was lucky to get access to DeepSeek very early.
I tried as well, but it didn't work. It was busy,
now you have to either download it from the GitHub and run your own. But and now, if you want to register, you have to have a Chinese phone number. So, but I asked it actually here a question. So I'm making an interview about blockchain technology. What key points should I talk about it for those who don't understand crypto? And basically you see here, okay, the user is creating a podcast interview about blockchain technology and wants key point to discuss for an audience that doesn't understand crypto. So it actually make a rationale that it doesn't understand crypto. Let me start by looking through a search result or find relevant information. And then it goes out on internet, it finds 44 relevant pages, internet pages, and it reads through all those pages.
That would be nice is to compare to 3 of them, for example, how they answer.
And what is actually, if you had put the same thing into ChatGPT, you get a total different answer, and you don't know how he came up with that answer, you know. But here you can see the rationale. Okay, first web page, simple guide explaining blockchain basic. Okay, so he's going to use that one, and then he picked out web page 3, 4, 5, 7, and 10. To get common interview questions, and then he goes to web page that he found 3 and 8. Talk about Wilson Center Blockchain Explained podcast. So we're going through a whole podcast.
Wow, it's going to the YouTube problem.
Going out to YouTube and cover AI, blockchain, regulatory aspect, use cases in finance, supply, healthcare, blah, blah. So it's getting like a wide area of topics, you know, that is this one we have to sort out, you know. And if you be like a person like this probably take you a week just to go through, let's say, making a research, you know, for making a...
But I think that the only point as well, I started the last maybe a couple of months, there are already experts about how to use the AI tools, how to use ChatGPT, how to use the DeepSeek, because it's also important to know how to use it, because if you don't know how to use it, you cannot take all the power of it.
You have to ask it in a correct way, you know.
Exactly.
So here you see like the rationale and what I call, let's say, reinforced learning. And first, after let's say putting together the key points and start with a simple analogy. So he came up by himself analogies that it can use to explain difficult stuff.
Okay, so it have analogy. For example, it's a crypto for the person who is like 60 or 50. It's difficult to understand that things that untouchable, and then to use the analogy to explain the blockchain.
And you can tell the AI, hey, I'm like 80 years old, you know. Can you please explain this blockchain thing for me? And it will adjust the analogy according to your age. Anyway, so it makes a basically simple blockchain as a digital ledger, you know, using words that people understand, and it basically makes all the topics. So, and then it comes up with the interview flow and how it should be, define blockchain analogy, blah blah blah, discuss supply chain, healthcare, explain crypto and transparency. For deeper insight, reference episode for the blockchain explained by Wilson Center, and you can go in here and you can see all the sources. So now it
it shows the
source that he's been using.
Then.
And this is quite so he's been in here on YouTube going through a bunch of information, and I can see that he's actually using the...
this is very nice, by the way, for the SEO optimization. It's nice to have an article. I think he cannot see the YouTube videos right now because it's he cannot go over that all the YouTube videos that are in the internet. Probably. So that's why it's important, if you're making podcasts or something about the topic, it's good to write an article about this or short explanation, description about what you've been talking about. Because he sees right now not what we've been talking on the podcast, but he sees the article that was written. So he actually see the text, not the podcast itself. So it goes deep, but not as deep as for the.
Yeah. And now we can test. So ChatGPT or Gemini is called now is version 2. Flash that we're using, we can ask the same question, and you don't see the rationale for how, let's say, he came to this conclusion. That is the first thing. So you are not actually sure that he's using the correct sources, you know. And it's a total different, let's say, way of going about it.
Yeah, even at the beginning, he didn't write that introduction about how he takes that information.
And then
he explains just.
Yeah. And if you compare it, I hope maybe Grok 3 is working now. I have it here.
It's integrated into the X right now, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not loading.
So should we install, or just if you have an X, it goes down here as well, or?
So this is premium, so you have to pay to...
it's like premium X, so you have a Grok integrated into the... Okay.
So I see now it's not the one that I used earlier, but because this is the old version.
Okay.
But
because they pretend to be the smartest AI, but Elon is always good in marketing, so we don't know how.
But just to give it, let's say, a little chill of how it's working. So I will, if I'm going to rank it, you have like DeepSeek on top. Then now you have Grok, the old version, because the way it presents the information, even though it doesn't, let's say, show the rationale, it gets the newest information available out there. It takes the sentiment. So I can, for example, ask it about something going on X. If I take up a profile, I can see what kind of person is this. So I can like.
But can we, for example, there are like on Telegram, there are a lot of news channels, or for example X, there is like news channel, for example, or crypto channel.
CNN.
CNN. Can he go over CNN, go over Telegram channels, and give the result according to that?
Yeah, so you can ask, okay, now it's not here, but before you have like a button here, you can ask to make a, have Grok make a profile of the person. It's heavy changing, heavy changing. Let's do Charles, or maybe it's because it has a gold star, so Charles.
So it means that some of the channels can...
here it is. So now I take a person. So an organization doesn't have this, but now I take Charles Hoskinson. He's a co-founder of 2 top 10 market cap cryptos, and I can go in here and make a profile summary.
All right.
Yeah, that is interesting. What kind of person am I talking with here? You know, what's he busy with? As a visionary in blockchain, pushing Cardano boundaries with products like BitVMX and Lace. So Lace is a wallet. And then I can ask.
He collects all the information that he has on his profile.
What is his thoughts about AI? Query like this. Here you see all his thoughts about AI from all his posts on X. And it's actually cool. Let's say you're doing research on something, let's say you have a professor in some certain topic. You can go to that professor. First, you can see what kind of professor is it, what is it, is it like over this side or left, right, and then you can, what is his opinion? Let's say you're making a master, you know, in something, and what is his opinion about this? And it goes through all his posts, and they're probably gonna
his articles, yes.
So it's this is the new world. I just read that like only in 2025, like 97 million jobs will be gone.
97 million.
97 million, just because of AI.
What do you think about as for the Grok? Is Grok 3, as we can see, is integrated into X, where there's a massive crypto community, influencers, traders, and DAO enthusiasts. Do you think AI like this could actually impact the crypto market, whether by analyzing trends or even influencing public opinion?
So So here's my opinion. So you have a lot of influencer in the crypto space. You know, those with millions of followers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's what we call paid chill. Basically, they are being
A lot of them are
a
being paid.
lot of them. I would say the majority of them actually are there, because if you're running like a YouTube channel, you know, unless you are Mr. Beast, you cannot, and even him, you know, is a paid chill sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
So they really need the income from projects, tokens, and subsidizing, and you know, all the blockchains do this, but it's not been spoken about. Okay, so let's say
It's like to find a brilliant or something, to find a gold.
it's very hard to find a very neutral, non-biased, let's say, crypto influencer data. But anywho, in regards to AI, now it's actually very easy to find what is the sentiment. Like if you are a trader, you know, and you want to know what are people talking about in the crypto space today, what meme coin, what token, and what new project, what new
are the
innovation,
trends, or
what's going on, you know, or even DAOs, what are they discussing, and blah, blah, blah. It's very easy to use Grok and get the social sentiment and opinions currently going on, and then you can go into the chart and you can actually you can see the chart. I think if you it moves up like something that everybody agrees about.
And if XAI launched a token for Grok free, for example, to pay for AI services with an X, how much could it shift the balance of power in the market? We have already seen hype around AI tokens. Could mass projects spark a new wave of AI-driven cryptocurrencies? And would that be real utility or just speculation?
Speculation. So this is just my opinion, a very difficult one. But from my experience, we know that X has the license to utilize crypto on the platform. And if you remember back in the days, you were able to put up your Bitcoin wallet, for example, to get rewards or the donations. And just to compare it with what Facebook tried to do, if you remember Libra, where they tried to create a stablecoin on Facebook, which met a lot of resistance, you know, in the governments around the world. I don't think he's gonna do that on
Right
X.
now,
Not now. The world is basically not ready for money and value moving that fast, to put it like that. Because, but yeah, I think that Musk is going to do something with crypto on X. He has this vision that X is gonna be the everything platform. So
like
why not?
WeChat in China, Something like that.
Yeah, like WeChat, you know. So I think this is going to be coming, and of course many people are speculating about Dogecoin. You know, every time everybody knows that Elon loves Dogecoin. Is a token with the most ridiculous tokenomics, you know, and maybe he just because he likes to poke the world, you know. I'm doing the impossible. Look what I did. I just did the impossible. So I think it's gonna come something. But if it's gonna be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Twitter coin, or I don't know. But blockchain is coming for X for sure, one day or another. That's what I believe.
For those who are unfamiliar, what is an ETF and how does it work?
So ETFs is let's say an invention for those deep pockets. But to make a good analogy, so if you want to repair a car, you know, you don't just choose any random person on the street to do the job for it. You want someone that actually knows what he's doing and can provide evidence that he actually know what he's doing. So if you want to repair a car, you bring it to, if you have like a Ford, you bring it to the Ford repair shop, just for example, because you know greatest guy who know how to fix Ford, and you know that they are using the supply chain with parts. You know, it's original, it's working, certified. They have the papers of what parts they put in. Yeah, so let's call it a regulated environment. You know, and here comes the same with ETF, exchange traded fund. That is an investment vehicle that a certified dealer can provide. And why do he needs to be certified and approved? Well, all those people using ETFs, those deep pockets, they really, really hate risk. That's the worst thing they know, you know? In crypto, we have FTX going over. We have Terra Luna nuking, and all of those stuff you can buy as a retailer. Normal, you can create an account to and buy those tokens. Unfortunately, those with the deepest pockets, and now I'm talking about everybody that is regulated, that have to document and prove that they keep risk awareness in their investments, because they're actually using, you know, your money, you know. So take, for example, a pension fund, you know. They are doing investments for money that you're going to get received like in 25 years. A VC fund, you know, they receive money from deep pockets and invest in something, and they have to prove that they are doing the right things. And an ETF is actually a vehicle where you can document and prove everything, because it's every let's say movement of value, funds, settlement are regulated and under the scope from the government point of view. So an ETF, when you put money, let's say you go into, at least for us Norwegian, when you go into your bank and use the stock portfolio manager in your bank, and you go and buy something on Nasdaq, which is where ETF lives, you can rest assured that the bank is regulated. When you are buying the product, the receiver who is going to receive your money, he's 100% sure that the Norwegian bank actually going to pay them. And then when the buyer and seller is matched, so, you know, for you to buy something, somebody have to sell, you know, an asset. The way those orders are matched, that is regulated. And then on top of that, when, let's say in crypto, you have to store it somewhere, and usually it's like Coinbase institutional, that is custodian, what you call. They are also regulated, so they governments, they look into how they actually store your crypto, Bitcoin, for example. So the whole point, you know, with the ETFs is that you have an you have an institution, for example, like BlackRock, which and they are operating in the US and the US market, and have the product exposed on the Nasdaq exchange. Basically, what they have done, they have taken the effort to document and risk analytics according to requirements from the government, the whole chain of how cash, in this case dollar, are moved from the Norwegian bank when you push buy, all the way to it end up, your bags ends up at Coinbase institutional. And they can
track everything, you mean?
They can track everything, but the most important here is that you have to reduce risk. So they have to document that. How are they actually reducing risk? So, okay, they can, if you go into Coinbase Institutional, how are they actually keeping the private keys? How are they actually storing your crypto? Is it some guy having his ledger in the drawer at the office? No, it's not like that. It's ear gap technology. They have segregated the private keys. There is not one person who can withdraw. So those sort of things, you know. And and centralized exchanges like Binance or KuCoin, they are not regulated on. They are they are regulated, but not on that level. To put it, so it's the Fort Knox. Fort Knox of buying crypto.
So actually, it means the quite easy Fort Knox. That's why if we ask the question why have ETF became such a hype-driven investment to the crypto space over the past few years, is because it's quite safe.
Yeah. So there are two main drivers. So to really understand that, you have to understand about money. You have to, what is, many people think that money, that is, or store value, something of value, that is like your bank statement or the balance on your bank. But in reality, fiat money, as you call it, your banknotes, that's just a transport vehicle for you exchanging your time for money. And this big money guys, they really understand this very, very bad. And what, for example, Bitcoin ETF have provided for the investor is, for the first time in history, you as an institutional investor are able to buy something that has a fixed supply. You understand? Before, the second best was gold. But even that, didn't have a fixed supply. Because what happened? Uganda, they just discovered 13 tons of gold. We know that it's like 2,500, 3,000 tons of gold coming out every year. So even that is deflationary. But investors, they rather, as a risk, they rather put their money into gold and have it lose 0.2% purchasing power than putting it into, let's say, Nvidia. You understand? Because so that's why. So the fixed supply, the world have never seen it before, and this is. And if you compare that with fiat, definitely not fixed supply, because Federal Reserve, which they decide how much fiat are going to be in circulation according to political financial goals. And when they do that, they expand the economy in crisis, like during COVID, for example. They expanded. We need to boost the economy. Everybody is shutting down, so we need to incentivize people to go maniac with money to lubricate the financial system. Oh, some bank went bankrupt, because they did some stupid decisions. Then we have to use taxpayer money and a little bit from the Federal Reserve and help the big guys, that made some mistakes. Take Norway during the COVID, airplane companies. I'm going to bring take Norwegian, for example. Every plane was on the ground. And they are critical, let's say, infrastructure here in Norway, so they just cannot go bankrupt. They cannot just disappear. So what do we do? Well, the Norwegian central bank hands over money to the bank to lend out to the Norwegian government, to the Norwegian airplane company, by the trillions. And when you lend out money, that is where the magic happens. You, out of thin air, create fiat cash. And the reason why they can do that is because cash that you have and debt is actually the same. It's a tradable asset. So if I owe you 100 kroner, you can sell this to another one, and I owe him instead. And then you have interest. That is why he wants to buy it. And the more interests they put into this, the more exclusive it is to buy your debt. Just put it like that, And what happens here is that, let's say they lend out, I don't remember the exact number, but they just take 1 billion Norwegian kroner, for example, from Monday morning, they make this decision, and ploop, is 1 billion Norwegian krone out in circulation. And what happens is everybody who holds a Norwegian krone, their purchasing power are diluted. Basically, it makes you have to spend more money to buy a bread because you need more cash to buy the same item.
Inflation.
And this is inflation. And then we have, like in Norway, like 7.6% inflation or something on peak. Then the central bank are thinking, oh shit, the fiat that people are holding are melting like a ice cube. So here we have to do something. So and here comes the monetary policy again. Then the Norwegian bank says, you know what? We need to tighten this shit up. We're gonna increase interest rate. And here comes, the ordinary guy again. They're looking at the student loans, they're looking at their credit card, and house loans is like it gets more and more expensive. And what happened is that we don't spend so much money, and in this way, we cool the economy down.
Like domino effect.
Yeah,
Let's go by there.
and it doesn't happen instantly. So it doesn't like if we give a billion Norwegian kroner. It's not like that, but it happens. From what my experience, like 1.5 years, then you will like reach the peak, and then you have to put up the interest, and it's so much harder, to reduce the economy than it is to actually expand it. Because what people do is that they use credit card. Like, the electricity bill skyrocketing. Okay, you can make it this month. Okay, what do you do? Oh, yeah, okay, you bring your Amex card or Mastercard, and you borrow. I'm just temporary, and then and then you print more money out in the system, and it takes even longer time to cool down the economy. So that's and the same with business as well. Okay, they are having a tight time. They go and borrow with 11% interest in a bank, and this is actually a cost that comes on top of the product that you are going to buy.
Grayscale has filed for a Cardano ETF. How do you see this? Is it positive signal or just a speculative move?
No. So to take Grayscale, they are actually one of the first companies in the crypto space. It goes back all the way to 2012, where a bunch of guys came up with, why don't we just save Bitcoin together? Put it easily. And before it was an index fund. And they have been fighting with the US government, SSE, to get it converted into an ETF product. You know, that regulated one? And then they are owned by a company called the Digital Currency Group. They are exposed all over their own coin market cap. They are basically, they are into like 700 different crypto projects. And now that the US government finally made a turnaround and are crypto positive, we're going to see a lot of ETFs coming out from the crypto, baskets of crypto index fund. I wouldn't surprise me that 5 years ahead you might have a meme coin ETF. But for Cardano, that is very huge. That it gets an ETF. So Bitcoin, pretty obvious. Ethereum, yeah, a little bit difficult to sell as an institution to the investors. But when you take Cardano, that has the same ledger type, so UTX, basically how funds are moved on the blockchain, and it has the same UTX model as Bitcoin, and you have the same type of products that you have in Ethereum, and it's cheaper to use and faster. So I think it's much easier to sell. So I think Solana ETF and Cardano, it's going to be a good seller to the retail.
There is a perspective with them, yeah?
Yeah, I think they're going to do great. They're going to do great because, for a no coin, it's very easy to understand. It has Bitcoin. Yeah, it has Ethereum. Okay, that sounds good. And they will very soon realize that Cardano is like the third generation of blockchains.
The SEC is currently reviewing the Cardano ETF application. Are there risks that they might reject it? If so, why it is?
So keep in mind that there are no Gary Genslers left in the SSE department at the moment. People guiding. We have the executive order from from Trump to make crypto, make USA a crypto hub and a front figure in the industry. So at the first glance of it, I don't think it's going to be any obstacle, to put it like that. If I'm going to be on the devil's advocate here, they might look at how Cardano was launched. They had an ICO, and that is like a big no-no word, in the financial regulatory point of view.
Yeah.
Regulatory. We're talking about risk here again, and what they are thinking probably would think about is the possibility of market manipulation. Cardano was launched in Asia, in Japan, and if you go to a Cardano crypto event in Japan, you're basically looking at 30% of the total supply of all Cardano. They might think about stuff like that. I don't have any concern regarding decentralization and stuff like that. But market manipulation, if I'm going to be really, really, really picky on the topic. But hey, here again, look at Solana, FTX bankruptcy sit with 21%. That's just one actor in the space. So I think the SSE is going to, what we say here in Norway, swallow that camel.
For the listeners who may not know what is SEC, and why it is so important for the crypto market.
SSE?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the financial regulatory body in the USA that manage a category of assets called securities. To figure out what security is, you have to look at something called the Security Act. It was created back in 1933, 1934. So it's quite old. And without getting too technical, they have basically what is called a Huey test. It consists of the idea of an agreement between contracting parties with an expectation of profit. So they're like an agreement. So you have to remember back in the days, they had to have papers and they shake hand. Okay, I have this, you get this. I need your cash to expand, and we're probably gonna do quite okay because we're gonna sell this and yada yada and have this much profit. And basically, then you are managing like a stock of the company. That's basically and the whole SSE Security Act was basically made to prevent what happened during the Deep Depression, where people just went bananas and borrowed and bought stocks, and the stocks wasn't regulated. People didn't know what they made, what they bought. Actually, they didn't. It was like wild west of the traditional financial world back then, and it had fatal, catastrophic consequences for the U.S. economy, and they created the Securities Act out of that. And unfortunately, whenever there is something to put money in that looks like let's say a contract agreement, And you might say that ICOs actually are that, because you have somebody standing there talking, oh yeah, we got this crypto, blah, blah, blah. And, oof, the market looks very bullish, and it's got to 10x in 3 weeks. Or something, you understand? If you sell a crypto during an ICO, there are expectation of return. At least that's how they sell it to you. So, but I think this is my opinion, the regulatory environment, they have to accept the history. We have to accept the history for everything else in the world. And they have to accept that basically that's how crypto got funded back in the days. And yes, there were a ton of rugs and scams and very bad stuff. But we see that in the traditional finance world as well. And then they learn, they get educated about the problem, create new rules. And I think that's what we're going to see in the USA also. The Trump had said that within, I think it's like 60 days or something like that, that to create new rules or the guidelines for basically everything that handles anything of value, either is the Commodity Commission or SEC, and to adapt to the blockchain space, they have to swallow some camels from the past, and it will only make crypto better for the future.
So to make it faster, then we're coming to the crypto education, yeah? So coming back to this education, or like I said, crypto education, what are the key gaps in education that prevent people from understanding crypto and Web3? So that will make the future more clear, and we come to the points more faster if we will be crypto educated.
So this is the core fundamentals of what I've been doing in the space, and is closest and dearest to my heart for the last 15 years. So, and the reason for that is when I started up in crypto, there was no education. You have to figure out and stumble and fall and make all the errors by yourself. There were basically nobody there to teach you about blockchain technology and Bitcoin and whatever it was. And on top of that, and it still is like this today, there is no one teaching the kids or anyone today what money really is. What is different between fiat and what actually is money. Like, you don't learn on school that for the past 5,000 years it's actually gold that is store of value.
No, like we say, financial education, that's a lot of about this. Robert Kiyosaki talks about this a lot, about the financial education. This is what you need to have in schools, because every student should understand what is money, what is the value of money.
Yeah, so that is just not present there. So the best taking my education was my grandmother said, "Oh, you have to go to the bank and put your money in there, and then you get 0.000001% interest. And by the way, they would charge you 1,000 kroner a year to just put your money there."
The same thing with our parents. They didn't talk about the investments. They didn't talk about the funds, and this is what actually you need to talk with your kids right now.
Yeah.
About the funds, that actually if you invest right now and what will happen in 10 years or 20 years, we never talk about this with the kids. And I think this is important, and how we can connect. What do you think? Would be the best strategy for onboarding the masses into the Web3, into the web cryptocurrency with this education? What do you think about it?
Yeah, so that's why it was you first to either just comprehend the blockchain technology and why it actually exists. You have to understand what is different between fiat and money. Secondly, you have to accept that everything in the world become digital. We had postcard. Now we have email. We have
games that kids are playing and paying with the fiats, paying with crypto.
Exactly, and you know, the evolution of how things are getting more and more digital, and you just have to accept the fate that everything is going to be digital in the future. And the ones that are able to learn this the fastest way is the younger generation. And we see that on the chart as well, that those people who understand crypto, let's say most easily, that's basically the Roblox generation, the Minecraft generation, playing games.
Yeah, here in schools in Norway, they have a Minecraft for education.
Yeah.
They have iPads with Minecraft, and they are together. They are playing and making virtual world. And now it's very nice for the kids to have this. The kids that already in the 4th class or in the 5th class, they are even maybe less in the 1st or 2nd, they're already in Minecraft, and they have a metaverse, I would say, where they can create houses when they are living with this, for them it's much more easy to understand that fiat, cryptos, and
on top of that, what they learn by playing in Minecraft is what kind of resources do you actually need to make like a building block, to make a sword. Okay, you need fire. So you learn actually the value chain of any product. So I think that's a very good way to put it. Like you learn the value chain of all the effort that has been put into actually giving you a computer or iPhone. Because you have to dig up some minerals, you have to find gold. You understand? And then you have the factory, and
then
then
you have resources, and then they understand the resources. They can just put the resources as money.
And they mint it. And here comes the minting part. I love it because we do the same thing in crypto. We mint tokens, and the transition from those that knows the value chain, and you can knows that like in Minecraft you can if you play on the same map, I can give you a sword, I can give you wood, I can give you the mineral resources.
Yeah, we're just coming back for 100 years ago. How was it? Like you give me one thing, I give you another.
Yeah, barter trading.
Yeah,
that is called barter trading. That's basically how it all began.
Yeah, it's actually now it's happening. Now it's metaverse.
Yeah, so it's like and coming into this, the main difference between, let's say, Minecraft and the metaverse. So we haven't decided exactly what it is, but the key point is you take what's from Web2, the Minecraft, into a space, and you just add the economy, and it's digital. That's basically it. So if I want to exchange resources for the game, for example, I just hand you the material, and then you give me something of value in return. And the bonus, the kicker bonus here, is that it's decentralized. Most people don't comprehend what that is, but basically it means, for example, for Bitcoin or crypto, it means there's no national state that can choke it down, shut it down, change it, or manipulate it. So like I cannot, if I send you something in Minecraft, actually the owner of the Minecraft server, they can actually revert that transaction if he wasn't happy, But in the blockchain technology, it's so decentralized, so that's not possible to do. So a settlement is a settlement.
And the kids will be already with this mindset. They will know this.
They understand.
They will be born with this. They will understand this much more easier than because we need to change it how it was before and how is it now. But they're born with this, how is it now? So for them, it will be much more easy for adoption, probably.
Yeah, and the cool thing is they're getting actually smarter than us, because take, for example, my daughter. She comes, oh, daddy, someone tricked me in this trade. I got robbed, I lost this very valuable item. I just got shit back, Yeah, here you learn. Don't fall for those tricks on TikTok. They are there to scam you of your value. They're stealing your value. As we see in the crypto space, there are so many people that don't have that education from doing bad trades on Roblox and Minecraft, So educational. That is understand money. If an offer is too good to be true, is probably the truth as well, And if you see something of value and you understand the difference between money and fiat and what is it called, the chain of value, you understand that if someone, okay, send me 1 Bitcoin, I will send you 3 Bitcoin back. You understand that this is an absolute scam. We understand it with fiat. So like, can you just give me 1,000 kroner on Vips now? And then in 15 minutes, I will send you 2,000. You understand that there's something missing here. And the key part is, where is that extra 1,000 kroner created? Where is the source for that, let's say, the gains?
But then we are coming to another topic about the airdrops. Actually, for example, you can borrow the money and then you can airdrop you. There are many schemes right now, but you don't know which of them are risky or which of them are scams. In that way, that's possible that if you give me like one Bitcoin, and then I will use your 1 Bitcoin. If I'll make money, I will airdrop you 1 Bitcoin more. So actually, there are some schemes, but you need to be
you didn't explain you didn't explain where that extra Bitcoin came from. So when we talk about airdrops, so look at that like a marketing on chain. So how can I make you try out something? And I can just use a popular airdrop that I took part of myself, Uniswap. So this guy, Adam Hayes, came up with this invention of how we can trade on the Ethereum blockchain, exchange something, take Ethereum, switch it for another coin, in a fashion that doesn't make the exchange go empty of the liquidity pool, as we call it. It goes empty out of money. And this was like nobody was like interested in, except for stupid people like me who just want to investigate and figure out and curious. So then we try it out, and this is a way that they can test their platform that it's actually working. They will see if there are security flaws in the smart contract, and it's a way of testing it. And for you to spend like 3 hours or 4 hours testing out, you get a reward, and this way you get the unit token get born. And that was I got like, I think like almost $6,000 just for being curious. And so that is an airdrop. And then if you look at the unit token, why are they able to airdrop you this token? So you have to understand that when you create a token, you have a certain amount of tokens that is, let's say, manufactured, to put it like that. And then you have what we call tokenomics. So a certain amount of those manufactured tokens, they are put into this. A certain amount is put to the team. Some are being used for liquidity providing. And then on the marketing budget, to put it like that, because all product needs marketing, and you can use an airdrop. And when you do that, a lot of people are like, wow, I got airdrop. What is this Uniswap? And then you have like perhaps 10,000 people around the world talking, yeah, I got $6,000. Wow. And then other people start using the product. And on top of that, also, when it comes to Uniswap, it also has a governance function. So when you hold Unitoken, you are basically taking part of how Uniswap is operated and run. There is absolutely no reason for ever selling your Bitcoin. And here's the takeaway. In the foreseeable future, you are going to be able to borrow fiat against your Bitcoin. And what is so cute about this scenario is actually that because the price of Bitcoin goes up so fast, and the adoption is so fast, you will borrow fiat against your Bitcoin, and the interest that you pay will actually be lower than what you are paying for your house mortgage, or what is given by the central bank as a what we call like guidance interest level, because Bitcoin is a harder asset than a house. And what you're going to see here now, and you can see, I tried to twist the arm to Torbjørn Bull Jensen about this, because for about 8 months I've been looking at K33 platform, and I can see lending.
Okay.
Soon, coming soon.
Coming soon.
I've been asking NBX, and they're like, I've been talking with the banks in Norway, and they're like this. But I see where this is going, because we have people banks doing it already in USA.
Does it mean that they have potential plans to adopt the strategy on lending of in their product for retail or for businesses? Or for
You have to do
else?
it, because if you are a bank, that is your main source of income.
Okay.
That is like,
That's
if you're a bank and you're good at lending out money, you're earning shit ton of money. That is the main business philosophy. You have two things that makes a bank money. They have trust, because they're regulated, and number two, they lend out money that doesn't exist and earn money off it. It's the best business model ever.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, guys, let me introduce myself. I'm a crypto enthusiast, and I do some stuff on crypto projects, and I'm as a kind of project or product manager, so of course in the field of Web3 and blockchain technologies, and I'm going to ask you more about DAOs, about this philosophy, what does it mean actually, and how it's adopted in the current period of time.
Sure. As I said, I love teaching about blockchain. So to understand DAO, we have to go back in the blockchain history.
Okay.
So
starting from 2017 or 2015.
Oh, we're going way back. We're going back all the way to the 2009.
Okay.
In February, and Satoshi Nakamoto were hammering
guy.
coding,
Yeah.
and we had this in around 2009, 2010. We had this discussion forum, Bitcoin Talk. And here we were debating what kind of properties should Bitcoin have.
Where was it? In what country?
Oh, we don't know where Satoshi Nakamoto lived and who he is, and if he was acting alone. But we know that people early in influenced a lot of how Bitcoin looks as a protocol, today. And one of the dilemmas we had, basically back then was like, who should decide how a Bitcoin should look like? How large block should be? How fast should the block be minted? How much a transaction could be put in there? And it basically was like a debate, going back and forth.
Between different developers.
Developers, yes. And what happens, that people disagree. And they were like, I'm going my way, I'm going to do this. And basically what we have is like a fork. Bloop, there we have Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. Bloop, there we had Bitcoin Diamond, all kind of different...
different ideas, different directions.
And here comes the...
mixture of thoughts.
Yeah. So what happened is like the market dynamic, they decided partially by sentiment, like, okay, you and me, we agree about that Bitcoin should be like this. And this guy over here, he think Bitcoin Black is a better version and a much better product. But you and we agree. And the mass consortium, the majority, agree that Bitcoin, as we know today as a protocol, is actually what is a store of value. You understand?
Yeah.
Moving forward, at a certain time, around 11, 12, we moved, let's say, from one place where we made the code, source code of Bitcoin protocol into GitHub. And here you could have developers coming in.
Okay.
Everybody on GitHub could make a proposition like, okay, I want to have block size this big, and then the problem here was that the core developer, they didn't know what the sentiment of the market is. Do the miners agree about this? Because all the miners also have to agree for the change in the protocol.
Yeah.
And this is what it took, like, for example, 7 years just to get a tiny little upgrade like SegWit into because people were going back and forth. So governance were just chaotic. Ethereum came along, created DAOs, a decentralized autonomous organization. Ethereum used it for the funding of the Ethereum project, and you change your Bitcoin in for a promise of Ethereum, and you also get to say something about where Ethereum is going in the foreseeable future. If you had a lot of Ethereum, then you had a very loud voice. Just had a little one, it didn't. Unfortunately, there was what they call the DAO hack. There was a bug in the protocol.
Like Sybil attacks, you mean? Or
yeah, there was a flaw.
what was the nature?
So, just in a logic. When you make, let's say, a transaction, and if you don't verify that the transaction actually happened, and that there actually was a balance to do the transaction here, then you have an attack vector. And basically what happens is you were able to, in the smart contract, you were able to withdraw, and it didn't check the balance in that same process.
Okay.
So smart contract believed that you had the funds, but actually you did not have. You already spent it, you understand?
Yeah.
Moving forward, DAOs get more and more established. They used it for governance of different projects. And in the same fashionable manner as with Ethereum, if you bought in early, had a huge bag, you basically were the one that was deciding where, and we have voting mechanism coming on, smart contracts. You can use your bags to collectively vote on proposals.
Okay.
And that's where we have like improvement proposals coming around. And then moving forward to around times like now, a DAO is actually a thing. And it's not only now we have different type of DAOs, not only the one who has, let's say, most bags, but there are included more ways to measure, let's say if you are a very smart guy, to give an example, and you're very active, debating a lot, you can sign each transaction where you are doing something, and it's like measured how active you are.
What is the most efficient DAO right now? How do you think?
The most
efficient. Yeah.
Most efficient. So running a DAO has
through the voting perspective and through the activity of users that are engaged. Because it's, as from my point of view, it is a real problem when we have a lot of DAOs on the market, and we can observe that they are not actual, that there is a lack of efficiency, and like a really small percentage of really active users that are involved in the mechanisms of voting, approving something, and so on and so on. And there's also quite big problem that exists right now, that it is a kind of good strategy from my personal point of view for founders, technical and core teams from different projects and protocols to create a DAO and to hold a big amount of tokens, and in that way they will be able basically to fill up the quorum and of course to close the process of voting without community participants.
So what you are saying, like basically what you call voter fatigue. The one that holding whatever token it is, they are not engaged in the debate. And right now in 2025, I would take like the pro and cons, and maybe what I've been working on for 2 years that looks very much more promising. So the cons with a DAO. Number one, I think it's only like in the USA. So just recently, they accepted a DAO as an organization, legal organization, because we have
also in Switzerland.
And Switzerland, yes.
Yeah.
So in a legal framework, regulatory framework, a very confusing environment to working. Secondly, is going back to risk, and that is liability. So here and I've been debating with lawyers about this, but and there are some court practices on it, and it means that if you are a DAO token holder, you are collectively responsible financially for whatever the community do wrong. You understand?
But how it's possible to wrap it legally?
So what we have seen as an example, I will not use the exact, but imagine that you are in the metaverse, is the DAO who controls this metaverse, and then because it's decentralized, some schmuck put up a Coca-Cola logo. You understand?
Okay.
And Coca-Cola, they see, wow, they are misusing our brand and IP for this DAO. And what they do, because the blockchain is transparent, they use chain analysis and say, that is the guy that probably has the most money, so we're going to target him. And they make a court ruling, and they see that on chain, this guy is a Binance customer, a Coinbase customer.
Okay.
So they go to Coinbase, who is the motherfucker who owns this wallet? And the Coinbase have to, that's Ken-Erik, just to put it like that. Okay? And then Coca-Cola sue me for like a ridiculous amount of money. Okay. And they do it not only with me, but they can do it with
random guys.
They go after the money basically. And a DAO holder, they have lost this in the court. So that's the downside of and then you also mentioned time, decision making.
Yeah.
It's very, very slow. And those who hold the most amount, they are the ones winning. I believe when it comes to DAOs, the future DAOs is more that those are active, those make the best contribution to the DAOs, and that is put in a regulatory environment like in Switzerland or in Wyoming, USA, where the framework is accepted. You have bank connection, you can do KYC, KYB on exchanges and stuff like that. Have a better, that is something that's probably gonna work pretty good in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, okay, but let's back to a question about Cardano, about DAO that was created around it, so there's no direct connection, as I understood, between like Cardano blockchain and DAO created. So I know just only that it was created not far away and not so long ago, and from a hard fork. Hard fork, sorry, from Cardano chain, and how it's called basically, and what's the main purpose. And
I would try to explain this. So the work regarding governance, because that is the red thread here, you know, how to develop Bitcoin, how to develop Ethereum, how to develop whatever project in a DAO. And so how can you make governance better without those, let's say, mistakes and flaws that and drawbacks? So already in 2021 they started doing research on this, and it's actually been on the roadmap for Cardano since 2017. This how to make a better governance model. So what Cardano has done is that they have created the very first digital constitution on chain.
Okay.
And I'm talking a constitution that regulates how the blockchain is moving on in the foreseeable future.
You mean consensus of Cardano?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and the founding entities of Cardano, Emergo, IOG, and Cardano Foundation, they have given up the keys. They've given up the control of the blockchain.
Okay.
I think we need to shut
need
this
to make a
mobile phone
pause.
down.
Yeah.
It's mine.
You can answer if you need.
Yeah. No, it's not nothing. It's just alarm. So the founding entities, they have given up the control of the blockchain.
Yeah.
And that was happened in August. They had a hard fork initiating this. And before that, I have been I've been a delegate from the Nordic community. We have been creating this constitution and ratifying it.
Can we just describe for our community and for our auditory what does it mean, delegation in the process of
So
downloading?
delegator, okay. So
Yeah.
from the we had a lot of workshops.
Yes.
So the Cardano community are able to, all over the world, are able to come in and participate of how the constitution will look like. And we're talking not only parameters on the chain, but also how it should be governed. So we have come up with it's like three-part governance. We have what we call the Cardano Constitution members. They currently consist of 7 entities or members, which is like the high court. And we have like the stake pool operators. Their function is to maintain the security of the network and let's say the technical expert. And then you have what is called a delegated representative. So everybody that holds Cardano, they can take their voting power and delegate it to a representative, like voting on a political person.
So can we call it like kind of second step or first step of verification against cyber attacks, for example?
Yes. So this is called liquid democracy. Because if I am let's say, because so I'm a DREP, delegated representative, you can delegate your ADA to me. You can even be your own.
But I need to trust you.
Just to you can trust me, but you can also decide not to trust me. You can be a DREP by yourself and take part in the governance process in a similar fashion like me. But you know. In the same way that when you were mining Bitcoin, you know, we are pooling together to have a stronger consensus, and basically what's happening with DREPs as well, and any political party as well. So the more people that votes on a political guy, the more influence he has with his political party. So just now, actually, yesterday, the Cardano Constitution got approved and implemented on the chain through and what is happening now is basically anyone that holds ADA, they are able to propose. They can work on the budget. It's like a $200 million budget.
Yeah.
Which I am a DREP. I talk with my community. Look, they have a marketing thing. They have developers. They're lawyers. They're gonna make an event. We can decide where that event is. I have something that Cardano community needs. I can make an info action, what is called, and I can make a budget and a rationale why Cardano needs that. And if it's been approved by all the DREPs by a certain percentage, and the Cardano Constitution, then Treasury Cardano has the 1.66 billion ADA in treasury. It's the biggest treasury in the crypto ecospace. Then I will get to withdraw funds, ADA, to me, and I have to deliver it on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like all the process is pretty clear for me.
Yeah. So it's very liquid. It's very liquid. And if I'm a douchebag and do something bad, I will lose. You will, if you have Delegate to me and you see that I do something bad, then you can withdraw your delegation and give it to someone else.
Okay.
So very dynamic, yeah.
And who are you right now in the Cardano DAO ecosystem? What are your main responsibilities and what you are doing? How often do you vote for something, for some proposals, and
so
how much people actually delegate their funds to you?
Yeah, so in the global perspective, I'm just a tiny guy, but we have ADA for around, I think, 3.5 million Norwegian kroner delegated to me. And what I do, I have this live stream 3 times a week, and I talk with the community. Now we have this proposal on chain, like the last one that we, to just give a couple of examples. So we want to make the name for the hard fork. So we made a deployment hard fork. It was in respect for...
I think I saw the post on your LinkedIn about this.
And we as a community voted on it, and it's on chain, and it got ratified. So, okay, so deployment hard fork this. Then we lately used what we did was voting on to putting the Cardano constitution on chain. So what I do on the live stream, and I've been doing this like tiny pieces, and people who've been watching me, they've been watching the whole process, and even people watching, they have participated in the workshops, in real life workshops, and they have seen what we have made, and they've seen the product, and we voted yes to get the Cardano constitution approved. So now it is in effect, actually, as we speak now in a few hours, is in effect. So everyone in the whole ADA, they are in charge of the whole blockchain in every aspect. I mean, and that's so cool, you know, in a governance point of view. Number one, you as a ADA holder, mathematically can prove that your voice is being heard. Either you vote single-handedly or delegate to a delegated representative that votes on behalf of many people. Yeah. You can mathematically see that your vote actually counts.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is like, in the real world, that is actually what is actually solved. If we had similar voting mechanisms in countries where there are a lot of riots, and conflicts, is basically because people, they don't feel they are being heard. So and the thing is that if you knew that, okay, I have been heard but I was not in majority, that is a better acceptance than you go away, wow, this is bribery, this is corruption, this manipulated the election, you know. You solve ton of conflicts in the world if this had been in the, and that's why I am so into this now. And for the future of Cardano now, we're gonna put on voting for spending maybe $250 million. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's on further development of the blockchain, new products, event, education, marketing, every possible aspect, even travel costs. So, for example, when I was let's say we're going to have a new in real life event, for example, in Argentina, basically what happened is that Cardano will withdraw money from the treasury. It is approved by the community that it's okay, Ken-Erik can go to Argentina and fly economy class or business class or whatever, you know. Go there and attend a meeting, and the community and the ADA holders, they will pay for the hotel because they said it's okay to withdraw this funding and put into a travel budget.
Allocate it
Yeah.
to you.
And what kind of process are I in? Right now, I'm very deep into the budget. All the different posts.
Yeah.
I'm involved in different working groups. We're gonna create like a election tool because those constitution members, they have to be re-elected. So we're making an on-chain tool for that. I'm involved in something called civics committee, where that's basically where we facilitate and make it possible for, let's say, you to delegate to a DREP and making, we are like a facilitator. We don't decide anything. Whatever we decide, we have consensus by election. What else? Yeah.
So, yeah, and what is personally my interest, for example, if I can be in Cardano DAO, if I have some tokens like ADA and I delegate it to you, so should I wait for something like retro drop or incentivize rewards or something like that?
So first of all, you get to participate to, let's say, we're not on spending money on stupid things, like for a budget, for example. You know? We as a community, we can propose an event here in Norway.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because we're gonna have like a workshop and teach something. You can take part in that. And then there is a project going on, and there is not much detail around, but there is a side chain of Cardano called Midnight. It's basically a new evolution of how we can use zero proof knowledge. Basically, it means proving something mathematically without revealing what you are proving, but you can just statement this is true. There are going to be a dust token that's going to be airdropped for the community, and I pretty much, if I was just guessing, I would say if you have a Vesper wallet or an Eternal wallet and you park some ADA there, you have delegated to a stake pool operator to participate in securing the network, and delegated to a DREP or at least take part in the governance model. I think you're gonna do good when this airdrop comes.
Yeah, and for me it's really interesting what should happen in DAO of Cardano, and
so the main difference, we have DAOs in Cardano as well. Then you are using, let's say, your DAO token for that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the liquid democracy and governance over Cardano blockchain, for now it's only ADA that is counting, and you don't send any ADA anywhere, but you're just delegating. It's not the same as on like when you're doing voting on the EVM chain. You have to actually send the token to a smart contract.
Okay.
Your vote is registered and then it gets pushed back to you. You understand?
Yeah.
It's not like that. You just when you're delegating or staking on Cardano, my ADA is still my wallet. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there. But if I spend it or sell it, my delegation to stake will be less. And if I add on cash and buy more ADA, it will go up.
Okay. Most DAOs operate on the plutocratic model. The more tokens you have, the more voting power you get.
Yeah.
Of course, we know it. And has Cardano DAO introduced a new fairer voting system, or it is just the same?
Yeah, so Cardano is, like we call it, liquid democracy, because the delegation can move around very, very fast. And here is like one ADA, one vote. And here comes the reason why it's so important to delegate to a DREP, and that is because you have to pool together all the ADA to get your voice heard.
Yeah.
Of course, you can participate with a single vote. Yes, you can okay, if you have 100 million ADA, just to take it like that, and then you can represent the delegate yourself, and you will have a huge impact on your saying. Otherwise, you have to delegate to a D-rep. Or, just for the sake of it, you don't have to take part of the governance. You can abstain if you want to. Nothing bad happens. So the main difference here is that when you have this liquid democracy, so in DAOs, on the EVM chains, the big whales, they always have the most to say. And usually the big whales, they are the founders.
Yeah,
that's
right.
So like, if you take part of new token launch, you see in the tokenomics, okay, founders get like, say 25%, and then you have like reserve. You see DAO reserve, you know, and basically, and then available for the public, maybe 20%, 30%, you know. The other will always be in minority, so it's like, it's not really democratic, because but on Cardano, when it comes to liquid democracy there, people fear, okay, Milo, they fear, you know, that for example Binance, or they're gonna use their voting power, but actually they are not incentivized to do that, because first they will violate their most important asset, and that is the customer's trust, that they don't misuse that, and secondly, they will get in a shit ton of legal issues if they do it. So you don't have the same dynamic in a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, as you have in a liquid democracy. It's like an evolution. You see, like the red thread. Yeah. Bitcoin Forum is like a web page. You have the Ethereum DAO. They learn from the Ethereum hack. You got a fork. You have Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Moving forward, you have an evolution of the DAOs. Look at Aave, for example, where you have your voting power becomes more the more you participate. Yeah. And then next step, liquid democracy on-chain. That's my take on it. Everybody has its pros and cons. I think if you are running like a tiny business, the newest DAO model that we have now, that's probably a good thing. But if you're gonna do like a huge, like millions of holders, you need to have liquid democracy. That's my, and it's actually going to have, like when we were in Argentina, you know, in Buenos Aires, we were in the law facultum, basically the university. There we had observers from the Argentine government. We have people from the USA who deals with the constitution observing, and they're so excited to see that this is like mathematically proven. It's not possible to change the ledger for voting, and cannot be manipulated, and it's fair. Because if you haven't delegated, you cannot say anything. You have delegated and you lost, okay, then you can prove at least that you were not in minority. And if you have delegated and won a case, for example, a proposal, then you like, okay, I did something good for the Cardano blockchain.
Okay, let's speak now about multi-sig technology applied in DAOs. How do you think, is it a good trend? Is it quite efficient scene, or just DAOs really need to move forward from this technology?
So here's my take on them. Multisig, yeah, they are a fantastic tool. It maintains integrity of the transaction, and there's always a minority when something is transfer of funds. I will actually say that multisig wallets are actually better than let's say layer zero infrastructure like Fireblocks. Yeah, segregation on exchanges and stuff like that. Yeah. Multi-computation wallets and stuff like that. Okay, a lot of people are gonna kill me for saying that, but that is my. If I was to start an exchange today, Yes, I know there's a higher cost implementing that, and let's say the daily operation of that. But I think that is more secure than having an exchange, being custodian, doing multi-competition wallet infrastructure. So, and because you can have the multisig, and you can put on top of that air-gapped transactions if you want to be really paranoid, you know.
Yeah.
So and ledger, and yeah, you understand.
Of course.
So it's then you have the risk side.
Yeah.
There are a lot of new, let's say, multi-sig wallets coming in to the market today with, let's say, new features. They haven't been, let's say, battle tested like the old ones, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that takes time.
Of course.
You can audit, but there is always someone figuring out something, sibling attack or yeah.
Okay, what do you think actually about traditional spheres, I mean Web2, and connection between those traditional spheres and Web3 in regarding DAOs? For example, if Deloitte or some consultant companies want to integrate DAOs like meta governance and voting processes in their companies, are they really able to do it? What's about adoption actually into this hierarchy of these companies?
Yeah. So first off, that what comes to mind, this is why Cardano is implementing Midnight, because when you run as an entity, you know, you necessarily really don't always want to show the world, because the blockchain is transparent. You don't always want to show how much you paid for a contract, how much you paid for an agreement, how much you spend on traveling, how much do you put into developers' salary. You don't want your salary to be in the public for the whole world to see, you know.
Yeah,
but with zero proof knowledge, you can actually provide that transparency, and and you can move the value that you are rewarding or agreement with the people. In a traditional DAO, I don't think that Deloitte, Ernst & Young will put their whole company in a DAO and pretend that DAO token holders are shareholders. You understand? Because there are so much company information, financially information, decision that are made that is transparent on the blockchain, that the companies don't want to.
Non-disclosure.
They want to
they
don't want to disclose that kind of information. Let's, for example, you came up with this research project. You thrown, let's take ChatGPT, you know. Now it's out in the public, but it came out in afterwards when they published their numbers to the shareholders. But can you imagine that you as an organization, hey guys, we're gonna spend $200 million.
Yeah.
Here you have the money. Everybody can see that on the chains, going to that supplier.
Yeah.
And people from the outside, they're going to see Facebook is going to be like, hey guys, ChatGPT, they put 200 million into this. Freeman, now we have to double down our budget.
Yeah,
we have to put 400 to compete with ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. But on the other side, there's the same company called DeepSeek, or just artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I'm going to show you later on.
Where they have only just open source code, and it's totally open.
Yeah.
So.
But going back to governance again.
Yeah.
Transparency, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
In retrospect to DAOs, that's a huge barrier. You understand? But let's say for non-profit organization, DAOs might be a good thing. So it's like DAOs will have their place in the space, but huge company structure, I really don't buy it, because transactions and decisions are transparent, and that's going to be put them out of competition, unless they implement some way of zero-proof knowledge or different type of transparency that doesn't reveal the source, to put it like that. But DAOs can be used for many things. Look at the success of Endmaker, Aave. You have investment DAOs, for example. Here, the transparency is very, very, very good to have. But from a company that delivers profit for shareholders, they don't want to reveal the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go and see mining place, yeah?
Yeah, at least old mining equipment back in the days. I don't think many people have seen.
No, I didn't.
Seen that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
no, not a lot of people see, especially here in Norway, you know. So
Yeah, it's not feasible to mine here in Norway now. You know, I was telling you that we need more females in the crypto space. So.
yeah, so and you was trying to attract girls.
Yeah. Oh, we got some.
Crypto Girls Night.
Yeah,
Oh
Crypto Girls
my
Night.
God.
So we had.
So maybe I think this banner we need this. I think
Yeah, we need it.
2025 plus more people, and when you bring more ladies into crypto world, it's much more entertaining.
Yeah. It's getting better.
Yeah.
What we have here is, let's say, the first generation of what you call ASIC miners. So, as I was telling you about, a lot of dust here. So basically, oh, sorry for the dogs, they are having a good time here. Anyway, so I was telling you about the difficulty. It was increasing, you know. More and more people were downloading the crypto Bitcoin Core wallet and start mining. And when we were around 2011, it was starting to get very difficult. And then someone came up with using the graphic card on the computer.
NVIDIA.
And,
Probably.
yeah,
That's why NVIDIA go up.
GTX, if you had like a GTX 660 graphic card back in the days, you were back on the top mining Bitcoin again, you know. And we got every block got your 50 Bitcoin. And then even
50.
50.
Oh my God.
50 Bitcoin for each block. And then all of a sudden it got more difficult because a lot of GPUs were mining Bitcoin. So what they did, a company called Bitmain, they came up with a processor specific design to mine Bitcoin, solve the SHA-256 hashing. And then we got those. There were like S1, 2, and 3. All of them came out in 2014. This was like the
10 years ago.
Yeah,
11 even.
10 years ago. And back then, mining 2 terahash on one device, you were like the king of the hill.
So you actually was the king.
Yeah,
Like maybe you are. I don't know, but yeah.
If you had just one of those,
Oh my God.
you were doing really good. Yeah. So here we have.
So now it's a history. You just.
This is historic. If you can use it to mine Bitcoin, but it is an economic disaster.
For the electricity.
Yeah. This sucks up about 3,500.
How many kilowatts? 1.
3,700, 3,500 kilowatts, one device. And it only generates 2 terahash. If you buy a new S110 one, it's 110.
More economical.
Yeah. So you can, it guesses faster. You understand?
So I mean, but if you find opportunity to like free electricity or cheap electricity, so it's
still durable.
If you got electricity for free, then you're probably doing something illegal. But but
No.
even though if you take whole this stack here, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so
No, everyone. For example, if
1,
we find
2,
the country,
3, 4, 5,
cheapest
6.
country where the electricity, and we send it there.
Kazakhstan,
Kazakhstan,
you hotwire the. So an a current miner. I'm horrible at math, but basically, so one produce 110 tera hash per second, and this is only 2 tera hash. So even hold this stack here doesn't replace one of the newest miners.
Okay. So it's
And
no
today
sense.
the reward from mining a block is only 3.125 Bitcoin. So it's and you also need a very good, let's say, fuse system in the house.
But
You can use the heating.
yeah. But I actually thought here in Norway you can just use the mining to heating the system. But
They are quite some heavy.
and how do you remember when you bought it 11 years ago? Yeah.
We were standing in line to get those.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember how much you paid for this just for one block approximately?
I think it was around, because they were very difficult to get
it.
But I think we paid around, included with shipping, about $2,000.
Oh, it's a good money.
Each.
Even in that time.
It's a good investment.
Oh, it was good investment.
Yeah. You have to, if you one of the newest miner now, they cost easily. Oh, I haven't checked the price.
Approximately.
But I think you're between $30,000 to $60,000 now for one miner.
50,000. Okay,
60,
it's like
60,
one
60,
nice car.
A nice car.
Oh yeah.
It's like a Tesla.
But is it there to buy it right now? If you buy it and put it in some place here in Norway and start to mining, maybe no.
Not. The thing is that it only costs I heard it costs only 0.22 øre to produce electricity, 1 kilowatt. So 1/5 of 1 krone to produce electricity. Now we are paying, I think last week it was like 4 kroner. 4 kroner for 1 kilowatt.
Yeah, it was 2.
And this one sucks up 3.5 an hour.
So if you're living in Norway,
don't do this.
It's not the country where you need to mine crypto.
No, it's not. But if somehow the political view changes and they subsidize, give the same, let's say, financial framework like we do for the aluminium industry, stuff like that, and then you can mine Bitcoin.
Norway is very conservative in some way, and I think it's. But Norway is very close to United States, so in comparison, a lot of investment, and something if will change in Norway, it will change to good, or it
closest good Scandinavian country is Iceland. Iceland.
I think Sweden will start Iceland.
Iceland is a good place to start mining if you want to mine.
Because it's
there
cold,
you have thermal heat. It's not hydrostatic.
And the price of electricity is much more cheaper.
Yeah, and they also
you can use the nature for the cold, so it will be ice to make it.
It's not a big secret within the crypto space, but many mining facilities you will see them on Iceland. Especially after China banned Bitcoin, back in the days, about 70% of a lot of Bitcoins were mining.
Maybe that's why Trump was thinking to take the Greenland, because he had many steps ahead. Because he's establishing the biggest farming or AI something.
I'm not sure, but I think it was called California. They were really early out, and Texas. for they were facilitating for miners.
California is the Silicon Valley is in San Francisco, in California, yeah. So
Yeah. So that is this is history.
yeah, that's okay. Cut.
Thank you very much.
It's just my thoughts,
Yeah, your
not
thoughts,
financial advice, but it's just from my perspective and experience.
your opinion, and thank you for hosting us. And if you have questions, you just write down in the comments, and we will be eager to answer them. And if they're going to be a lot of same questions, we're going to shoot and one more podcast according to the trending point. And thank you very much, and see you guys in the next video.